What's going on, Dodgers Nation? D-Mac here. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMac_LA. Today we're going to finish out our starting pitchers grades. We got Trevor Bauer, Tony Gonsolin, Dustin May, and more. But first, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. And if you want to see us post even more Dodgers content, smash that like button. Really helps out the channel. And as always, I want your takes down below in the comments section. Today's Dodgers Nation's questions of the day. 1, give me your grades for Trevor Bauer, Dustin May, and Tony Gonsolin. And what do you think the Dodgers should do with Tony Gonsolin? Should they keep trying him out as a starter? Do you think they should move him to the bullpen? And also, tell me about Dustin May's future. Do you think he's a future ace as well? Let me know down below. And for all latest Dodgers news, head over to DodgersNation.com. So we have more Dodgers starting pitching grades to hand out today. The report cards are in, so let's hand out those grades.
I'm going to distribute your report cards.
So first, let's start with Trevor Bauer. Would the Dodgers have Bauer's remorse after giving him that record 3-year, $102 million contract after coming off that Cy Young Award-winning season? Now, if you look at his numbers, in 107 2/3 innings pitched, he had a 2.59 ERA, a 4.03 FIP. He had a 31.7 K percentage, an 8.6 walk percentage, a whip of just over 1. Now, his numbers weren't as lights out as they were in 2020 when he won the Cy Young Award. He had an ERA plus of 2.84, led the league in whip at 7.95, hits per 9 at 5.1, but still a really good pitcher last season when he was pitching with the Dodgers. Of course, he did miss the final 81 games of the season and the postseason due to being placed on administrative leave, but I think the one issue with Trevor Bauer last year was those home runs. That HR per 9 was at 1.6. That was his highest number since 2019. And yeah, he did struggle at times to keep the ball in the yard. And the other big storyline with Trevor Bauer in 2021 was the spider tack. Was he a sticky stuff merchant? Well, if you look at his numbers after the crackdown, it was an adjustment period. You saw him get rocked a little bit against the Texas Rangers at home, where he gave up 4 runs in 6 1/3 innings. But then he followed that up with a start in Arizona. The Dodgers win 3-0. Yes, Arizona's pretty much a minor league team last year, but 7 innings, gave up no earned runs, and his ERA post-crackdown was a 3.45 in 31 1/3 innings pitched. So not as dominant as his May ERA, where it was at 1.98, and you saw him kind of change his game up a little bit. He wasn't going with as much four-seam fastball and kind of putting guys away upstairs like we had been seeing with that perceived rise and just kind of missing a lot of bats, but he's a crafty pitcher. You saw him get it done in 2018 with a more diversified pitch mix, using a little more off-speed stuff. So still a really good pitcher while he was pitching. Now, as far as the grade I'm going to give him for when he was in there, I got to give him, he led the league in strikeouts when he was placed on administrative leave. I'll still give him like a B+. A B+. I won't say he was elite in his time with the Dodgers last year, that FIP over 4, but definitely was a baller, and he was in the process of kind of adjusting to this post-sticky stuff world of Major League Baseball. And I think, yes, there's no question that he was a guy that was almost scientific with his sticky stuff, but he also is a guy that had proved to be effective without it. And when he called out Garrett Cole, and you guys kind of know the story behind that. So I do think that Trevor Bauer would have found a way to adjust and still be effective without using the sticky stuff, because we saw him do that in the past. Now, give him a B+. Now, next, let's talk about Tony Gonsolin, the great Catsby, the Gonslinger. How did he pitch last season? Well, if you look at his numbers, he had a 3.23 ERA, a 4.54 FIP in 55 2/3 innings, had 65 punch-outs, 34 walks, a 0.5 F/WAR. And the thing with Tony Gonsolin is he was having issues on the injury front. He made the opening day roster for the first time in his career, but he did miss a lot of time due to that right shoulder inflammation. And I think one of the big byproducts of that was the diminished velocity in his heater. His average fastball velocity last year sat at 93.4 miles per hour, and that was down from 95.1 miles per hour in 2020. So he was pulled from a lot of starts due to some command issues he was having. He walked 8 batters total in his first 2 starts. And yeah, he just didn't look right. He didn't look comfortable out there on the mound. He was laboring, and he just wasn't finding the zone. And when he's effective, he's pumping strikes. You're seeing that unique pitch that he has with that split changeup. You're also seeing some velocity. You see 96 on the gun when he's missing bats and throwing it by guys. Dodgers, and he just wasn't able to do that early in the year. And yes, I think there's no question that injuries contributed to that. If you look at his numbers, he had a 7.2 walk percentage in 2020. That's the year he won Baseball America's Rookie of the Year. Well, that number spiked up to 12.6% in 2021. So too many walks, not enough command, and after his first 10 games, he went back on the IL, missed another month and a half. So he just wasn't right, but when he did come back, you saw that velocity come back as well. He averaged 94.7 miles per hour on his fastball in his last 5 starts, and unfortunately, he was hit pretty hard in the NLCS. He gave up 5 runs in 4 innings of work in the NLCS versus the Braves, including 5 home runs. They were hoping to get more out of him, and he was never able to go more than 2 innings. So yeah, he hasn't had very many opportunities in the postseason, but he just hasn't been effective when it matters most. And I also think he has been mismanaged by the Dodgers. Just take 2020, for example, when he went 16 days before a postseason start. So I think there's that as well. So for him, it's just getting healthy, finding a way to correct those command issues, and just doing what he does best. Going out there, he has some filthy stuff when he's on. But as far as his grade for last season, I'm going to give him a C-. I think he'll appreciate the C stands for cat, but C-. Not quite a do get it together, because I do think injuries were a factor last year, and I do think he just hasn't gotten the amount of opportunities that he deserved as far as the season he had in 2020 when he was in there pitching. But we'll see how his future looks. I do think there's a possibility that he gets moved to the bullpen at some point. I do think that there's a chance if he cleans up those command issues, I think he could carve out a role as a bullpen piece, because he has filthy stuff. He does have velo when he's healthy. It's just a matter of staying healthy and correcting those command issues. But I'm not done with Tony Gonsolin. I'm not selling all my Catman stock just yet. I just want to see him healthy for an entire season. We'll see, depending on who the Dodgers pick up. If they re-sign Clayton Kershaw, we'll see. We'll see what happens with Trevor Bauer. He might get more opportunities in the rotation at the start of next season. And then next up, we have to talk about Dustin May. So it was looking like Dustin Mania was in full effect last season. He made just 5 starts before tearing a ligament in his arm that forced him to undergo Tommy John surgery, but he was ascending as a star in Major League Baseball. He was a pitching ninja icon. You saw his filthy stuff, just straight sorcery. Like I said a long time ago, he's mesmerizing on the mound, and you saw the big jump up when it comes to his K percentage. That was really my big takeaway, was his use of that 4-seam fastball. In 2020, he threw it just 5.5% of the time. In 2021, before he went down with the injury, he was throwing it at a 19% clip. You also saw him use that cutter, that curveball. I mean, just look at Pennywise's K percentage from last year. It went from 19.6% in 2020 all the way up to 37.6% in 2021. So I'm hoping he gets back as quickly as possible, and hopefully he's even better. Maybe you see an uptick in that velo. I mean, you never know. We've seen that these days, but I think when it comes to Dustin May, he's still very young. He still has a bright future, and we've seen him post videos of him training and trying to get through this injury, even without the help of the Dodgers training staff. So hopefully this lockout ends as soon as possible, so guys like Dustin May can get the help that they need to get back on the mound. But as far as his grade goes for the 2021 season, I have to give it an incomplete, because it was just 5 games, but I think he's a guy that was trending towards a B. There's no question about that, and I just can't wait until he gets back. And I think it could be August, it could be late July, we'll see, but I think August is probably a safe bet to see him in some capacity. But let me know down below in the comment section, how do you see Dustin May's future? Do you think he's a future ace? What do you think the Dodgers should do with Tony Gonsolin? Should they continue to trot him out and give him opportunities as a starting pitcher? Do you think they should transition him into a full-time bullpen piece, maybe a swingman? Let me know down below in the comment section. My name is Doug McCain. People call me D-Mac. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMac_LA. For all the latest Dodgers news and rumors, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and if you want to see us post even more Dodgers content, smash that like button. Really helps out the channel. For all the latest Dodgers Nation merch, head over to gearup.la. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.